what's the difference? How do you know if you're dealing with a demon versus a shadow man or a djinn?
Okay. So most of the time with the demon, you can feel that darkness. Like most of the time they see like red eyes and, they physically have harmed you. They've physically done something to you. Some people, you get pushed down the stairs or...
Psychically, they feel different. I think you just need to bring a medium in to kind of to find out. That's something where a medium's going to make a big
kind of determine what this energy feels like.
But this house case is just so... Sorry. One sec. This house case is just so complicated that it's been a long process. We've been working on it for months. The initial call when he contacted me, he just says, "Hey, Jen, I was on your Facebook group. By the way, we run a group for Utah, haunted Utah stories and experiences." Ooh. And it's great. It's growing so fast, and it's where people can come in and just share their experiences of hauntings or places that they've been that they felt that there was a haunting, or they can even ask questions like, "So has anyone ever felt like this at this location?" It's kind of a really cool thing. It's been fun to work with. But he said, "I noticed a comment on one of your stories and I felt like I needed to reach out to you." And he says, "I am having..." Where his biggest complaints were he was seeing, his first off was he had a wife at the time, or he hadn't, it's an ex-wife now. He had a wife and the wife was run off. And he said how she was run off was that there was a spirit there, like a shadow-like person. And whenever she was there at the home, she'd almost be bombarded by like a running commentary of very inappropriate sexual comments to her. And then it started happening with this teenage daughter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that was his one. Says, "I'm seeing shadow figures." He goes, "We're hearing yelling, like actual literal yelling in the middle of the night. Lots of bumps, thumps, all sorts of stuff." And he goes, "Now I brought in a team before," and he goes, "They staged and then they said it was good, but it almost got worse." And here's the thing, people, never stage your home. Don't do it. If you suspect there's a haunting there and you do not know how to use sage, or even if you try to Google it, sometimes when you use sage at a haunting, it can piss them off because the entity is so much more stronger than the sage. Now you're just going to piss it off. It's
another reason why, so sage, the whole point of sage is it clears out all energy. So that means all negative and positive energy. So if you clear out all energy and you don't build up that positive energy fast enough, that's just like leaving your door open with signs all over your front yard saying, "Come in and take anything. You can come in here. You can live in here. I don't care." Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they can walk right back in and they're going to be more pissed off because you tried to get rid of them, but you failed. Yeah. So now they're going to make your life worse.
Yeah, so that was our first thing. So we go in there. And, it took us a while to figure out there was 2 different entities there. One, we're going to say the actual shadow man Djinn, and the other one was a human spirit, but was very much a shadow form, And he was one that was like, we're going to call him the pervert, the one that just totally assaults women who go there. I mean, we watched it happen to us. We'd go in there like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you saw right." When we first pulled up, it was so heavy. Like, you could just feel it emanating from the street of this house. But, I need to go back. This is a really important story. Huh. I asked him, "Send me a picture of your house. Let me see what's going on here." And I got the picture of his house. And to me, it was like I could see an overlay of a spider web over the house. Like a dirty, filthy spider web. But each part of that web was not done by one, we're going to call entity, or one, like spider. It was done by several different negative things. So each had their own part. And I thought, well, that's strange. We get to his house, and so spirits feed off of energy, especially electromagnetic energy, stuff that's created from different appliances, old wiring and stuff. And he had caused this man who was in an oppression stage, to basically build this spider web of cords and cables all throughout his house. I have never seen so many things plugged in, like in each outlet. So like in his bedroom where he said a lot of the haunting was at, so he had 3 like electrical things behind his bed. And so, there's 2 plugs per each outlet. So he had the 3 outlets, and he had in each outlet a power strip on the top and a power strip on the bottom. So we're dealing with 6 power strips.
What the heck did he have plugged in there?
Everything and
Old
anything he
computers, TVs, so much different stuff. And a
could.
lot
Record
of
players he had never used before.
it was
things like
just,
that.
oh my gosh. And then downstairs, up above the ceiling, was just this spider web cable network of just everything. You couldn't even walk downstairs. Like, it was so, like, you couldn't even find somewhere to step.
So-
and I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Because that's what I felt on the picture, and that's what we got going here.
So you think the entity
Was
had
kind
him
of
drawn
prompting him
to
to do
plugging
this.
more
Yep.
stuff in so he could feed
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
One of the first things we had him do, and we talked to him very much.
So
see,
what we need to do is find a Mennonite family to move in.
Yeah.
Amish.
Yeah, he
And that entity be
Starve him
pissed
out.
You know,
when he
Yeah.
got back, sawn, and then he's like,
That-
I'm not getting enough.
There's a
and-
lot in Brigham
That-
City. You can
yeah.
go join them.
that first night.
Is there?
Yeah.
That first night we talked to him and we told him, he was also very obsessed with this haunting. So he was putting out tape recorders every night so that he could go back the next day. He didn't have a job. He
So he
was
could
a
listen?
vet.
Trying to
So he
validate.
could listen and validate himself every night. And then he'd watch hours and hours of video cam footage of, his house security in each of the rooms. So he was very obsessive over this haunting.
Which
What
is
did
a
this guy
super-
do for
He was a
living?
war veteran and he had PSD, so he was getting, I'm assuming, disability or whatnot.
So he had PTSD,
Yes, which always makes for a bad haunting
and
anyways.
he was a war veteran
Yes.
of these current wars
And being
I don't know
obsessed.
which one, yeah.
It was Iraq, I believe.
in the Middle East.
So being
And you're
obsessed with
thinking
this.
maybe a Djinn?
Yeah, I think it's a Djinn.
He might have brought that with
He
him.
might. Now,
might
I didn't even
need to-
place that together. Oh my goodness.
He might need to pull his kit, anything he brought with him, and
Cleanse the shit out of
get
that.
rid of
Well, here's the
anything
thing.
he brought back with
So
him.
he's moving with this house, so he's moving the house. He refuses to take any furniture with him, any clothing, any
he needs
furniture.
to look through his military
Yeah, no,
kit.
you're
If
right.
you think it's a Djinn,
Well, last time we were there, he had left everything on hangers. All his
Yeah, and he
military
had a
items,
couple
all
of
his
military-
well, you got
coats.
coins. That'd be a
Yeah,
big draw
he
for
left.
Djinn.
They
Yeah.
left literally everything. They took their toiletries and maybe a week's worth of clothes, and they left. And they haven't been back since. They were telling us, if you guys want something, you can take it. Like, we don't care. It's just going.
Goody.
It's
But
just
I
going
know.
with. We're just selling
But-
it with the house.
Yeah. But the thing is so that very night we talked to him about he had to stop putting recorders out to listen. He had to stop going over the footage. He needed to promise not to do that anymore. And then the next thing we told him is, you have to do this tomorrow. I said, I want in each outlet just one cord plugged in.
Or nothing.
You've got to go down to absolutely nothing, and you need to do that in every room of your house.
If you haven't used it in 3 days, then you need to
No.
unplug it. That's what we
And
told him.
we tried. I don't remember which cleansing method we tried. No, it was holy water. The holy
Holy water
water
the first
routine.
time.
So we went and put holy water on all of his walls, making the cross, and then saying the St. Michael's prayer, whatever else he wanted to say. I said, you can say whatever you want that puts power back to you. And we did it on the ceilings, windows, every part of the house. And then, we kind of had just wanted to see where that would go at that point. And then he just kept saying it just feels so bad, come back. And we came back and we're like, oh my gosh, yes, it's still here. What the heck, And it would happen over and over. This thing, so here's the thing. Most spirits and entities are not very intelligent. So when we get there and we start investigating, they're always like, who's here? I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to
being
know what's going
nosy.
on. These things are smart enough that we get there, these two entities, that they would scram. And so when we got there, we could feel that they were there. But it was hard to investigate because they would take off. And so it's extra hard to kind of cleanse it or, do whatever we need to do, because I think we learned that the reason why we're having the hardest part of cleansing it is because of his mental health. It's hard to cleanse something and keep it clean when he's just going to invite it back in mentally. Like I said, he's still very obsessed over this haunting, so he's thinking about it every day. So it makes it really hard to, like keep things clean for it. And, sometimes he
that
would think...
obsession is such a
But he was
low
right,
vibration.
though. We saw several times our first night there.
You stayed the night?
Well, I would say we were there till like 5 a.m. We
We were
left
there
and it
till
was
5
like,
a.m.
yeah.
every single time we were
And
there.
what
Yeah.
part of you stayed the night doesn't that include?
Well, we're just,
Some people
I'm
can't stay
going
the
I
to
guess
night.
we just
investigate
didn't
from
sleep there.
11 to 11:15.
Well, it was really
Yeah.
like 7 p.m. until
Yeah.
5 a.m.
But
That's the whole
that-
night.
that first night, I did notice like that. Oh my gosh, I just lost my point. I'm sorry. No, it took us quite a while, and that first night when we did that.
How many people were on your team?
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
it was
Thank you,
mainly
team member.
just
It was me, Mary, Sarah, and then one other person that we brought in for this cleansing, because we knew it was going to be really hard. And so I have a full team. I don't even let my own team members come to cases that I think are going to be super negative, just because like I pick and choose from that who I think would best serve that
So like
house.
you're
So
the-
that was my first time meeting Sarah, and something told me to just invite her and to trust her, like that. And we hit it off like
Sarah
right after
just said I slept there one night.
No,
Sarah.
yeah, no,
she did.
She slept there, but here's the thing: is that very
Crazy.
first night, one of my girls was in a room, and we were downstairs, and she was upstairs by herself, and she swears to gosh that I walked up the stairs and I came up there and was talking to her about stuff. I never.
So they can shapeshift.
Yes, this thing could shapeshift. And he said that he's noticed shapeshifting. And so we were able to validate for him. We saw several times where we actually saw like the human spirit. He would like come walking down the hallway also sneakily, and you'd see him peer like that around the corner. And if we noticed, he'd hurry up and jerk back, you know what I mean? And we kind of try to chase him down, you know what I mean? Like try to find where he went.